Yo, what's going on, guys? Jetxc here. It's been a minute. I think the last time you guys saw me do anything Browndust2, I was pretty much not banned, but I got a strike on the platform for a week. But as you can see, I've been back, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I had like plenty of videos to make, and I want to talk about, I want to talk about Darian. I wanted to talk about Elenier, right? But unfortunately, it's just I kind of just threw it all out. Whatever, we'll leave it be. But I want to talk about my overall thoughts on the second anniversary so far, and a little bit ahead on what we have to look forward to. So, first off, if you guys don't already know, there is a half Annie, 2.5 Annie voting poll going on right now. Of course, the live rankings are here. Now, I'm not really all too surprised. I think a lot of people get recency bias. However, I do find it interesting that Elenier isn't even in the top 5. So it's a little bit of recency bias, but I think Browndust2 just knows the type of characters that the fans like, right? So Darian and Tyr being the top 2 is really not surprising, right? They've definitely got the body type that typically wins and the look that typically wins when it comes to BD2. And of course, Lewin is always top 5. Olivier, though, I thought Olivier would be much higher. If this wasn't like during the bunny event, I feel like Olivier, it would be between Olivier and Lewin, honestly. I hope Olivier could get a costume, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I mean, either way, though, we do know in the future she is getting her own fated guest, so that's gonna be pretty exciting. But yeah, that's that. Now I kind of want to quickly go over some things with you guys. Let's just go over this. 2.5 has actually provided overall a lot of content, and since the beginning of this game, everything we've gotten up until now has been really solid. Now this is like everything up until now. In between then, there's been some issues, there's been a lot of bugs, but right now, I would say content for BD2 is at its peak. We have the Golden Coliseum here, and the Golden Coliseum is on its 4th season. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, people are loving it. I maybe played like 40 games yesterday, and I'm only in the top 20%. A lot of people are spamming this mode, and the reason they're spamming this mode is because in order for you to play again, right, all you need is 10 gems, right, 10 diamonds, which at first people think it's for whales. Like, nah, not really, especially when you're spending 10 diamonds for 100 attempts. It's actually a pretty cool mode where you get to experiment with a bunch of different team comps, and I think this gives Browndust2 that the gameplay that a lot of people have been looking for, because typically in a lot of things we do when it comes to guild raid or fiend hunt, we've got the same pretty much setups, which is fine. You know, it's not that bad, and it's not necessarily boring. It just is what it is. We don't get to try anything necessarily unique. But with this mode here, having like 3x5 formation, a total of 7 members, and then previous seasons it was like 9 members, 5x5. It's cool, right? And this will develop in the future with like new seasons every time. So I like this mode. Now the biggest thing that I thought would not work, but it actually did, was Fantasia Square. So Fantasia Square, guys, I know you guys have been playing around with this. This is basically like the central hub for BD2. You'll be able to have certain people that could come into Fantasia Square. You can use the chat. You can kind of decorate your character. You've got emotes. There's a lot of cool things with this mode. You can have your vehicle. And then once you're done with that, you can go fishing. Now, I haven't had the chance to try out the fishing mode yet. I've just been busy with other things. However, a lot of people have been liking the fishing stuff, right? They've kind of figured out what to do, what's best to do, and yeah, it's been overall pretty good, and I could see this mode in the future kind of expanding. If you guys remember, there have been live streams where they've talked about how they've looked at surveys and people prefer more casual content. So we're going to get more casual content from here on out with Fantasia Square. So yeah, it should be pretty interesting. But overall, I never thought this mode would work out, but it actually does. And yeah, I love to see it, honestly. So Fantasia Square is a huge W for BD2. They actually really cooked with this one. Now, a couple other things too. Obviously, we've got the bunnies, we've got the new season event, so I mean that goes without saying. One thing that you guys should know, and they're going to talk about this anyway on the next live stream, so I'll just mention it now. They did an emergency live stream regarding what's been going on with the game, and one, it was for the guild raid on how they had to basically stop it because there was a bug. And then also, too, on top of that, they mentioned things that they were going to change. So a lot of people were upset that Zenith didn't really feel as impactful as Eclipse. So they said that they're going to look on how they do impactful gacha skins, similar to how they did Justia. And they're also thinking about updating the cutscenes within Justia and Therese to kind of match a little bit of what they had with like Eclipse. So that may be a possibility. And to be honest, from everything I looked at, and this is mostly on the Korean side, guys, I have to say, like, there is probably no longer that much of a consideration into EN that much. It's mostly like the Korean and Taiwanese side. But yeah, they've been complaining and comparing it to like the Eclipse cutscene. And then there were a lot of people saying that, oh, well, you know, the whole icicle scene with Zenith, why didn't you show it? Like, it's an 18+ game. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the background, but they may be changing things up in the future on the next Annie and making those changes when the time comes. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, they did also talk about they are going to be looking into making some changes to have a ceiling for refinement powder. So when you're upgrading your gear, if you refine it to a certain amount, they are looking to have a ceiling to where if you hit that ceiling, you will get some type of pity, right? So we will see what happens with that. Again, that'll be talked about January 9th. And yeah, also, I guess just to let you guys know, the gacha skin that's coming up next is going to be Liberta. The Fated Guest that's coming up next in January is going to be Ventana. If you guys remember from last year, they said that they were going to have a Ventana Fated Guest, but they never got the chance to basically finish it. So, yeah. Next thing up, obviously, is the Tier Fated Guest when Tier comes out next week. But yeah, that's what we have to look forward to in the second part of this anniversary. So, yeah, guys, I mean, overall, there are some issues that Browndust2 still has. A lot of bugs. A lot of minor things with the Fated Guest and some big things with the story. And just to quickly give my thoughts on story, they've kind of talked about it already in the live stream. But essentially, the game has basically turned into a different path. And now more and more people are interested in the interactions and the moments with the girls, right? And a lot of people think it's the players that are kind of pushing this. There are people that want these things, but they're not necessarily pushing the devs. It's the devs that want to go this direction because that's where it's going, right? A lot of people are caring more and more about Fated Guest and the Gluppy Diner. And if you add a self-insert character, as long as it's good, I really don't care. Again, to be honest with you, these past packs from 15 to 19 have been, it's been not the best, to be very honest with you. You guys know how I did not like that Arankanor fight. I think Azir is probably the best villain, even better than Storis, because what they did to Storis was just terrible. So, as long as the story is good, I think it doesn't matter. And if by some crazy way, in the survey, if people start saying that they read the story versus not read the story, then that's already a good thing for them, in my opinion. Because when people do the survey, I think like 40 to 45% say they did not read the story. Or they're just not caught up, right? Whichever it is, which just means they haven't read a lot of the story anyway, right? So we will see what happens with that. That's kind of my opinion on everything. But overall, 2.5 has been pretty great. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to part 2. Next time we do some VD2 videos, we will be talking about some minor things about kits and also team comps and all that stuff. So, all right, guys, I am out. Later.